The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.
Dr. Grace, welcome to Freedom Friday, and let us say to you, Happy Mother's Day. Over the last couple of years, you've adopted a couple of precious kids, and we went through you with your adoption pregnancies, and we want to wish you a Happy Mother's Day.
Oh, thank you so much, Carl. I am very, very blessed to have these beautiful children, and I hope I am doing them justice.
Yes, you are. We are certain that you are an excellent mom, and we celebrate motherhood and families and marriage and home and children here, and thank you for being a part of the biblical understanding of marriage, home, and family. God bless you, Grace.
Oh, thank you, Carl, and I want to wish everybody out there Happy Mother's Day, all mothers, and I can say that the moment I became a mom, I have so much more appreciation for everything that my mom did for me, and I'm sorry she's not around for me to tell her how much I did when she was alive, but now that I'm a mom, it's a whole different level in terms of understanding what it is to be a mom.
You want to say, oh, I get it now, Mom. I get it. I get it. Well, listen, let's shift gears here because I want to make use of all the time we have. So ABC, Grace, I think they have opened the floodgates in this Benghazi. I mean, it's a done deal now. I mean, that trigger has been pulled. That bullet has flown. I don't think they can get it back. ABC has spilled the guts on this. 12 revisions of talking points. The lie went through before it came to us, and it really implicates Obama and Hillary. What are your opinions and commentary and insight on this?
You know, Carl, it has been an explosive week. There's no other word to describe what is happening. I want everybody out there to stop what you're doing, to listen extremely carefully. We are about to watch history in the making.
I think so.
What is happening now is far worse than Watergate. If this is covered up, it will be devastating for our republic. And if justice is served as it should be, this president should be impeached.
Yeah. Listen, I'm looking at a website right now quoting Senator, is his name pronounced Inhofe? I-N-H-O-F-E?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that's how it's pronounced. Senator Inhofe says suggesting impeachment could be soon coming over the Benghazi cover-up. I'm telling you, this ABC outing today, I mean, this thing, the mainstream media has either ignored it or marginalized it or underreported it until today.
Well, what happened essentially, Carl, was we had the Benghazi hearings. Those whistleblowers are American patriots, and because their testimony was so compelling, the rest of the mainstream media is going to have to cover the story. And so now what's really happening is that you have some reporters in every news organization, when the dam begins to break, they begin to say, well, you know what, let me make my name, let me get myself famous here, because this is what journalists live and die and breathe. You know, they live and breathe for this.
Right.
They want to be one of the people that help bring a president down. I mean, they may love this guy, but once the dam is broken, it's a whole new ballgame. Then they know that they're going to be all competing for their own professional credentials.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, and I'm going to tell you something else. I'm going to let you in a little tidbit, Dr. Grace, and our listening audience. This Benghazigate and what has happened today, but even prior to today, has really opened wide open this criminal document fraud case of Sheriff Arpaio and the cold case posse. Lieutenant Zullo called me the last 2 days. He's been just burning my phone up, and apparently this thing has opened wide the number of people who now want to see what Arpaio and Zullo have, and huge people are really piling on this thing. I think there's an effort now to get this guy out of the White House. I think finally some of our politicians are getting how desperately devious this White House may have been from the get-go. I mean, with fabricated documents, and if that's the case, that puts Benghazi then on steroids, because not only is Benghazi a horrible travesty and a complete lie, but what if, Grace, what if the guy behind it all isn't even a U.S. citizen?
Well, I think what we're seeing here, Carl, is that if he was lying from the beginning about his status as to where he was born. He was so filled with hubris, he got away with it and got away with it and got away with it, that then he thought that he could continue to get away with it. Because I've got to tell you, the evidence that is pouring forth now on Benghazi, it's just stupid in terms of not wanting to get caught for something. This is not the kind of crime, this is not the kind of cover-up that you want to get engaged in.
Right.
And I think we've got to, let's break it down for the audience as to what exactly has been revealed this week.
Absolutely. And then we want to take calls, too. We've got callers. But you go ahead. Break it down for us.
Break it down. First of all, ABC has reported that the talking points that came from the CIA from the start clearly said that an al-Qaeda-related group was responsible for the attacks, that this was an act of terrorism. And ABC News is reporting that the State Department spokeswoman who works directly for Hillary Clinton, she said we've got to eliminate all references to al-Qaeda,
right,
and we have to eliminate all references to terrorism. And she not only said to do that, which means basically corrupt the documents.
Right.
And she also said, we know for a fact, she said because this is coming from the people high up in the State Department, which means that the directives were coming from the top. Now, you remember, after Benghazi, there was an investigation done, and lots of folks said that there were low-level officials that were to blame for what had happened and that the intelligence community got it wrong. So now we're saying that was all part of the cover-up. It's not true. Our intelligence community got it right, and our local officials, everybody along the chain of command, behaved honorably and grandly and with great patriotism. The corruption is clearly from the top. And number one, the president. Number two, the Secretary of State. So we know that now we have a paper trail that even ABC is showing us that the intelligence community got everything right, and it was orders coming from above that were corrupting the information before them.
And the tinfoil-wearing hat people like you and me who called this from the beginning, we are now being vindicated, of all things, by ABC.
Being vindicated. And you know what is the key here, Carl, is this. The testimony by those three brave men earlier this week, their testimony was so gripping, it was so moving, it was so clearly sincere, that and it was also so clearly detailed. That's how you're in law enforcement. How do you break down a liar? It's through the details. And the details kept coming forward hour after hour. If you watch those hearings, you might think, I don't really understand. Is there a bombshell here? What's going on here? I don't see any. I'm not getting it. It just is a bit boring sometimes, you know. But what was really coming forward was, piece by piece, a damning picture of what actually happened, and the contrast, all those facts being laid out, the contrast between those facts and what the administration said shows without the shadow of a doubt that the president and the Secretary of State lied to the American public about Benghazi. They are responsible for high crimes and misdemeanors, and our president deserves nothing short of impeachment. And now let me tell you why.
We want to take some callers.
This week. Hello?
I said we want to take some callers, but go ahead. The phone banks are full of people wanting to talk to you.
Of course. Eric Nordstrom said that the consulate did not meet the protection standards required under the law, and it was designated as a high-risk, high-threat target. There is only one person who can approve or disapprove enhanced security, and that is the Secretary of State. So she lied when she said that she did not deny that there should not be more security. She's clearly lying on that front. So by his testimony, has shown that without the shadow of a doubt.
Clearly.
Gregory Hicks the deputy chief of the Libya mission, said that Stevens told him in a phone call shortly before he died they were under attack.
Yeah.
He didn't say there was some kind of protest going wrong. And then we have the smoking gun. You couldn't have a sharper, clearer, more stark smoking gun. You couldn't have a document that more indicts this administration than an email that was sent on September 12th, one day after the attack, to State Department officials by Elizabeth Jones. And this email had a very stark conclusion. Ansar al-Sharia, an affiliate of al-Qaeda, is directly and solely responsible for the atrocities at Benghazi.
Wow. Wow. Thank you, Dr. Grace.
It gets worse.
I know.
You want me to take calls? Let's take calls.
I know we're going to have to. I know it gets worse, and we've got to take calls too, and we've got to take a quick time out.
The only people who don't want to disclose the truth are people with something to hide.